You are loved, whether you like it or not. You are accepted, whether you like it or not, or you completely ditch yourself. You are supported, whether you believe it or not. The question isn't, are you loved? Are you supported? Are you cared for? The question is, do you believe it? Because if you don't believe it, you will never take advantage of it. You simply won't do it. Your illusions are your makeup in terms of your identity, but your identity and those illusions are not you. Everything exists within the state of your mind. If your state within you says, I am at war, you will experience life at war. And this war will be happening within you. Remember to click the notification bell to get notifications when I upload new content. Thank you. See you soon. Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to my channel again. Or if this is your first time here, if you're new, thank you so much for being here. My intention is to bring forth information that will help you release yourself from your own prison. And I do this in various ways. The video that I recorded just before the one I'm going to do now talks a lot about some of the frequencies you might be experiencing in terms of creating turmoil in your life. So if you're feeling confound, stuck, not feeling yourself, that previous video, and I'll include link down below, will likely give you a lot of information you can kind of rest upon to help you figure out what the heck is going on. And if you choose to like this information or comment, that would be even better. It helps me to know that you are engaged and that this is actually helping you. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. You know how this works. I'm going to go through, I think it's 4 piles today, or four messages, 4 individual messages. And these messages are directly connected to the previous video. But within each message, the way I'm asked to organize it is each message will have a specific vibrational value that's going to resonate with you on a deeper level. So you may not necessarily understand logically what's being said, but your body is going to remember. So it almost looks like each pile offers light codes. Okay, I don't usually talk that way, but it's interesting. Let's see where it leads. So you can look at the pictures, which pile you're drawn to, or which message you are drawn to the most. Of course, you can hear all the messages and see what resonates, and your body's going to tell you whether it resonates or not. Okay. But what I want to do first is I want to give an overview of a general message. Okay. In other words, what's going on? Tell me specifically. In a different way that I've done it on the other video. What's going on and how is each person impacted, or how is each pile impacted by what is going on? I just keep hearing the word generosity. Why do I want to say the word generosity? Keeping positive and the idea of generosity needs to be amplified. So we are, we are needing to be more positive and more generous. Not necessarily generous as giving somebody money, because if you don't have that, then you can't share it. But when we say generosity, we mean your inner resources, yourself, your own truth, your own value, sharing that with the world more. And we can only do that effectively if we believe in ourselves. If we don't believe in ourselves, we are going to be more tend to be more negative, and it will depress our own energy in terms of the growth we could have and the experiences we could experience in this 3D physical world. And without safety and security, without believing in your self-worth, let's say, sharing becomes very difficult. Why? Because if you believe that you have nothing to share, you will not even attempt to share yourself with the world. You will hold yourself back. And that is not the world you want to live in. You want to live in a world where everything is available to you, not that most things are not available to you. That's just programming of the thought. And we are effectively going through a deprogramming of our thoughts. In other words, how we think, what we see, who we value, what we value, and how much we value is about to change or is in the process of changing. And that overall increases the level of frequency that we feel on planet Earth. So I'm going to read the first message, specific message, when I said, tell me what's going on collectively. Energetic shift, new information, end of cycle, Anunnaki light codes. Okay, so I, as Joanna, don't know much about Anunnakis. I have heard of them before. So I'm not going to speak to whether they're quote-unquote good or bad, because I only want to speak to the aspect of those beings who come into this world with the purpose of enhancing humanity's life and life cycles. Okay, and enhancing the state that humanity is in right now. In other words, to help enhance and make it better. Those are the Anunnaki beings that are coming forth right now in order to help humanity with this energetic shift. Okay, energetic shift, or in other words, frequencies. This is what's going on in the world right now. We are being assisted in numerous, very profound ways, but beings that are outside of our normal human consciousness, who are assisting this with this tremendous task. Okay? Here's the thing. They cannot do it for us. They're only able to assist us. If we don't take their assistance, well, then there is no assistance to be had, but they very much want to assist. The question is, do we believe in this assistance? Because if you do not believe in such assistance, you're likely not to take advantage of it. So the question is, what do you believe about who might be assisting you right now on the higher planes? Okay. There's a prosperity. I just hear the words prosperity. How does prosperity tie into this? Prosperity in terms of state of awareness. If our state of awareness is conditioned in the idea of lack, then we are effectively living in scarcity. On the other side of the scale, if we are in the understanding that life is opulence, then that's effectively opposite of lack, and its vibration is very different. And when we operate in this abundant state, we don't feel the need to fight for anything. There is no reason to fight. And that's going to change everything. And when I talk about fight, I talk about the inner wars, because this is where the fight exists. Wars are made up by people who think of their position or of themselves as warlike. What is warlike? Lack of peace. Humanity at present is experiencing tremendous lack of peace on the inside. So if peace is our natural state as a being, if that's how we come equipped from the factory, if you will, Yet we are not experiencing peace, and we are instead of experiencing chaos. Then the question becomes, why are we not able to embody our peace? What's going on? What is standing in the way of us experiencing more inner peace? And when you ask yourself the question, you will be presented with an image possibly that's full of different mirrors, showing you different versions of illusions. Your illusions, what make up your... Say that again, please. Your illusions are your makeup in terms of your identity, but your identity and those illusions are not you. So we are in a process of seeing ourselves beyond the illusions that we have been seeing ourselves as. Okay? If your mind is not able to grasp it right now, it's okay. Just let it settle in as an energy, because this is more like an energetical. So this is what's happening with the world right now. The world is going through a I want to say the word resurrection. Very interesting word. It's a universal resurrection planet. Yeah. Okay. We are essentially becoming reborn. And that's what the message was talking about in the other video. So how will this affect you? Because let's face it, it's affecting you. So if you're drawn to message number 1, what I have for you is, let me just look at it. Okay. Akashic Stargate, aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. So message number 1, the question that comes into my mind is, what do I choose? What do I choose? What do I choose? And you see all these doors are open. Each one represents something different. Perhaps another form of an illusion. And you don't know what to do. You don't know what to choose. Perhaps there are too many choices for you to choose from, or you're afraid to choose wrong. There's no such thing as wrong path per se. There is an A path, but there's no such thing as wrong path. And here's why. Right and wrong is a human concept. Okay? Beyond the human concept, whatever path you choose is going to allow you to have a certain experience. And from that experience, your soul will derive information that is very valuable to consciousness itself. Think of yourself as a library, and you constantly are accumulating more knowledge. Okay? You might be at crossroads right now. Where do I go? Who do I go with? What comes to you is, what does your heart say? You might be a very logical person and not used to asking your heart, what does my heart want? Because remember, this process of waking up is literally being more aligned with the heart. Right? Living in the heart is where the freedom is. Confinement is in the mind. Okay? It's the mind that creates the confinement. So if you are feeling confined right now, ask yourself the question: what's this confinement in my mind? Where am I confined? How do I confine myself? How do I keep myself stuck? Because if you do keep yourself stuck, then that's a choice. That's a choice that may not be a conscious choice, but it is a choice. You keeping yourself stuck is a choice. It's not a dig at you by any stretch of the imagination. It's just showing you that you're in control, you're in power, even though you may think that you're not. Okay? Very few people in this world have zero free will. Even the person in jail has free will to a certain extent. Okay? Free will exists all the time. We just don't necessarily understand the idea of free will, or we want to make free will something we want to make it. In other words, to make it something it's not. To have free will doesn't necessarily mean to get rid of something, but it may very well mean, how do I deal with whatever is presented in front of me? That's the free will. That's the free will. How you think about it, how you see it, how you don't want to see it. The question is, what do you want? What do you not want to see about yourself? What are you shying away from? What's inside of you that's yearning to come out, but you're like, no, 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 zip it, no, no. What is it that, on one hand, you want something to come out of you, but on another hand, you're afraid of unleashing it. So there's a conflict here. So here we go. Here's a war going on. What sort of conflict is going on inside you, pile number 1? Okay. The number 9 is shown to me, which could represent September or letting go. So if you're at crossroads, I'm pretty sure you're in a process of letting go. We're all in a process of letting go. Some of you are in a process, or maybe it would be advisable for you to consider letting go of a commitment that is too restricting and it's no longer a fit. And that could be friendship, romantic relationship, career. It could be so many. Friendship, and it could be so many things. Some of you are in the process of questioning your own relationships. If you're questioning your relationship, then that's a good thing. It means that you're trying to figure something out. So that means something is bothering you. If something is bothering you, then figure out what's bothering me so that you can effectively deal with whatever it is bothering you. Is what bothers you that you are not happy? Well, it may have something to do with the relationship, or it may have something to do with outside of the relationship. Why aren't you happy? Thank you. Choose different words. Why do you choose to not be happy? How do you keep yourself away from your happiness? What are you resisting? In other words, if you knew that you would wake up tomorrow and be happy no matter what would you choose to let go of? What would you let go of if you knew that tomorrow you would be happy? That's a very interesting question. Okay. I'm also being drawn to this door that looks almost like an amethyst. I feel amethyst stone would be very, thank you, very useful. It's a very high vibrating stone. It connects you to your, connects you to your crown chakra, but they also said sacral, and I know it's not sacral. Sacral is citrine. So somehow it has a healing effect or healing benefit on your sacral. I'm going to have to look that up. Especially when it comes to ovaries. Okay, that's interesting. Let me know, by the way, in comments if that makes any sense to you. But yes, rocks, crystals are very important. They may be very important to you. Or you might be accumulating rocks or crystals. You might be introducing yourself to crystals, aromatherapy, smells, I feel, essential oils. Perhaps that's something that you're going to move more into more, whatever that is for you. I feel something very vibrant, fragrant and vibrant. I feel whatever it is that I'm smelling, it has to do with some of you changing your careers. Maybe you've been fascinated with aromatherapy and now you're starting to see all the healing benefits and you are fascinated by that and you want to move more into that direction. Maybe this is how you want to move your direction in terms of your own healing, inner healing, physical healing. Aromatherapy plays a big part for whoever this message is for. Perhaps if you're wondering, which path should I take? And I'm saying this and this is resonating with you. Perhaps this is your answer. Perhaps this is your answer. So that's what I have for you. Message number 1. Remember to click the notification bell to get notifications when I upload new content. Thank you. See you soon. Okay, message number 2. Let's see what we have for you. I'm going to show it to you first. Beautiful card. Ancestral realm, karmic release, healing the lineage boundaries. Okay, so we talked about the karmic release quite a bit in the first video that I released a few days ago. There's a link down below. So we talked a lot about karma and releasing, but this is specifically for you. What I'm getting from this is DNA activation, and I'm also sensing the number 5. Somehow the number 5 is important to you. Either month of May, 5 months ago, 5, something, or 555. There's something about the number 5 that for message number 2, it's somehow important. Okay. So I already talked about DNA activation. What I'm also sensing is needing to visit the old stomping grounds. It's almost like I want to say, going back to your past in your memory in order to reveal some great treasures, and then, which is something of value, and then bringing that treasure into your current life. And because of that, you present yourself to life completely differently. It changes how you see yourself. It changes the outlook you have on life, and it changes it changes how close you allow people and how much you share yourself with other people. So if those are the end results, if you want to change how you share yourself with other people, if you want to be more open, all that kind of wonderful stuff, then you're being almost urged to go back to your past in your memory, and you can do this with someone who specializes in that, in order to release yourself from what is called a karmic debt. Yes, karmic debt. Thank you. Okay. Here's what I want to say. You're not releasing something because something is wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with you. I want to make sure you hear this very clearly. The purpose of releasing something is not because something is wrong with you. The purpose of releasing is to help you understand just how much right is with you, not wrong, right. How everything you have assumed about yourself, especially about your limiting belief system, is nothing more than a lie. It's not real. It's an illusion. It's phantom. Doesn't exist. It's an idea. Okay? And there's something fundamentally very healing about doing this work. I mean, I know that as Joanna, because shadow work is just my playground. I just absolutely love working with shadows, and that's effectively what it would be. You know, shadow work combined with regression, combined with inner child work, combined with gestalt work, which is the techniques that my team and I use. But anyway, going back to you. It is important that you understand yourself from that perspective back then, whatever time you go to in your memory. It's important that you see yourself from that perspective. It's hugely important, because seeing yourself from that perspective back then is going to help you understand your life. Life all of a sudden is going to make more sense to you. Everything is going to make more sense to you. You're going to get the proverbial, why is this happening? It's happening, or it's been happening because you're in bewilderment, you're in confusion, you don't know who you are yet. Well, you know yourself from your limited perspective, but your perspective is limited, so you get the picture. Always remember, you are more than you think. You are more than you think. Your thoughts is what defines you. It's what robs you of opportunities or allows you, but your thoughts are nothing more than your mind creating some sort of an illusion and you believing in it as true. It's essentially what it is. This is not to minimize the experience by any stretch of the imagination. This is just to help you remember the truth of who you really are. Your identity is an illusion. The chains you have had around you that keep you stuck, that keep you confined, that keep you away from that which you love, that's an illusion. It doesn't exist. That is not to say you don't have some physical barriers, but the amount of barriers that you have in your mind versus physical barrier, it's like 90% to 10. 10% it's real barriers, 90% is the barriers in your mind. In other words, you are the one who keeps yourself in suffering. Don't do that anymore. By the way, that's not an order, if it sounded that way. It's just an encouragement to help you understand that whatever is that you are afraid of, whatever it is that you are fearing, rejection, for example, it's an illusion. It's a human-made concept. But you can be a human and experience a different concept that is beyond the current human concept. You can be more than that. That's the higher vibration of a human being. To see the illusion and to move beyond it. And to understand it is an illusion. It's real if I want, but I don't have to if I don't want to. It's a choice. They want me to say, in many ways, empowerment is a choice. It's not a choice of whether you have it or don't have it. You are fully empowered being. You may not feel empowered, but you lack no power. There is no such thing. You wouldn't exist without you being power. You are part of the higher power, whatever that is. And it's not a single unit. Okay? It's beyond human comprehension. Okay? We would have to, in order to understand it, we would have to put in a certain box. There is not a box big enough to handle that. Okay? But we can move beyond our current comprehension right now in a human physical body. Everything exists within the state of your mind. If your state within you says, I am at war, you will experience life at war. And this war will be happening within you. Doesn't mean you won't have an opinion. Having an opinion about something you agree or disagree is different than being at war with yourself. In other words, tremendous peace comes from freeing yourself from your karmic lesson, from your karma. Okay? For most of you who are listening to this, the basic ingredient of that karma is I am not enough. You know? And that basically leads to one thing. Will I be loved? My beautiful human being. You are loved, whether you like it or not. You are accepted, whether you like it or not, or you completely ditch yourself. You are supported, whether you believe it or not. The question isn't, are you loved? Are you supported? Are you cared for? The question is, do you believe it? Because if you don't believe it, you will never take advantage of it. You simply won't do it. So that's the message I have for you. Pile number 2. Remember to click the notification bell to get notifications when I upload new content. Thank you. See you soon. Okay, message number 3. Let's see what we have for you. I'm going to show you the picture first. Okay, I'll come back to it. Akashic Records, clearing old stories, releasing past lives, freedom. So this is a message specifically for you. If you're choosing message number 3 or pile number 3, there is something very specific for you in this message with regards to what's going on in the world. Okay? Changing old stories, clearing old stories, releasing past lives, freedom. one of the first messages I hear is this: be an open book with yourself first, so that you can see yourself clearly, so that you can understand what you're dealing with. Without your own understanding of yourself, it'll be difficult for you to stick to the commitments you made with yourself and your soul in terms of your purpose. Okay? Your purpose is very much tied to you needing to be at peace with yourself, not at odds. So to heal shadow and to have a deeper understanding of the human condition. Okay? Whatever that means for you. Okay? And I'm hearing the word, the Anunnakis, the benevolent ones, are in full support of you doing that. In fact, I feel like you have been directly connected with these beings and other beings, and them supporting you and gently pushing you in the direction of you knowing more about yourself. That's really, really important in this lifetime right now, because what they're saying is you are in effect rewriting your own history. You are claiming the old. What does that mean? You are making your old, say it differently. You are rethinking your past. Thank you. That was simpler. See, when my head gets in the way, it gets too complicated. You are, in essence, rethinking your past. You are not devaluing or reevaluating your past so much as you are rethinking. You are looking at it from a different angle. You are looking at it from a different perspective. And that different perspective changes you forever. It's mind-blowing. In fact, that understanding will pretty much blow everything apart that is not strong or strong enough to support you. So pile number 3 or message number 3, you're going through some pretty big transformation right now. Okay? Here's the thing. There's no going back. There is absolutely no going back. Well, you, as the other video talked about, you chose to be here, even though you might be saying, I did not choose that, thank you very much. I get it. As a human being, sometimes it's very, very difficult to grasp, why the hell would I choose this? Well, I always say a reminder, you are not choosing it with your logical mind, with your ego mind. You are choosing it per se with a higher consciousness, from higher consciousness perspective. And from higher consciousness perspective, things look very, very different. Okay? In fact, that's what we're doing here right now. And that's one of your purposes, is to go through this process of your own dismantling so that you can help people who want to be dismantled as well. That's a funny way of saying it. So that you can show people their limitations, how they're attached to their limitations, show them the attachments, because that will allow them to make a choice to detach themselves from their past. So in many ways, I would say to you, message number 3, you fall somewhere in a category of a teacher. Okay? So you were a learner and now you're a teacher, because every teacher has to gain some information. So you've been in the process of learning and acquiring tremendous knowledge as a soul. As a human too, but particularly as a soul. Okay? And what I'm getting for some of you, and I can't prove this as Joanna, they're saying to me that the next soul evolution for you is you as a soul helping other people. Okay? So you yourself will be acting as a guide. Now, my understanding as Joanna is that not everyone who passes over is a guide, because it all depends on their level of evolution. So in my understanding, when you become a guide on the other side, you must have substantial human knowledge and awareness and understanding, and you would have had to go through some pretty treacherous past in order to vibrate on a higher level. Treacherous doesn't mean but challenges, because it's like a diamond that's being shaped. It's through heat and pressure. Okay, so you have a lot of understanding in your bones and DNA. So what they're saying here is that, and they wanted me to say this because they want you to understand the value you have within yourself. You know, you have so much value to offer that the next time round, you are going to be likely assisting other beings on the planet, and you're going to be the one speaking from higher perspective, much like my higher perspective speaks through me to you. Okay? Guide implies guidance. You will be in a position of becoming guidance. And I suspect this is who you are in this lifetime already. You're just doing it on a human level. But this is an interesting distinction they gave me because we haven't talked about that before. It's not something I focus on, but that's interesting. Okay. So not only as a human, you are elevating, as a soul, you are elevating. And your purpose, quote unquote, is to always elevate yourself. But the purpose of elevation is not because less is not as good. It simply means evolution. Nothing ever stays still. Nothing ever stays still. Everything is always evolving. So you are evolving right now to help humanity evolve. That's a big thing. So if you think of yourself as someone who has no value, I would ask yourself the question, where does this idea of me having no value come from? What sort of illusion have you bought into? What sort of experiences have you had that led you to believe that you have nothing to offer or you are of less value? Because remember, that's an idea. It doesn't exist. It just doesn't. And I believe part of you knows this already. You're just struggling with your own humanity. You're supposed to, quote unquote, experience struggle so that you can understand other people's struggle. Otherwise, you can't understand. You can't make a link. If you don't make a link with somebody, they're not going to trust you. So whatever you have of benefit to offer them, they're not going to take advantage of it because they're not going to trust you. You have to have something to connect with. It's your human experience. Your human experience is what makes you good at what you do. Don't know what you do, but chances are you're some sort of a teacher. Okay? Dolphins, I feel, are also important to you. Obviously, I love dolphins. They're healing animals. I believe they have a different vibration. They're certainly extraordinarily intelligent. I also hear wise counsels. So maybe some of you have connection to some wise counsels that has something symbolic about, some of you have a connection with aquatic beings. I'm not sure if they're talking about 3D aquatic beings or other dimensional aquatic beings. And I want to say, it's not that you have connection or communication with fish, or you could, but no, I'm sensing that you have connection with aquatic beings from other dimensions. I don't know anything about aquatic beings. I think I've experienced them once or twice, but it's not an energy that is familiar to me at this point. It might be, who knows, but you are likely someone who likes to swim, who just loves to be in water. So that's not going to be all of you, but it's going to be for some of you. I'm also seeing the image from Avatar, blue tall being. I feel that you are one of the blue tall beings, whatever they are. Okay, and they are higher vibrating. I feel that some of you have the ability to embody blue beings. So maybe you channel, maybe you're a trance channel, maybe you embody. There's a natural this blue being and you just come together. It's just like a natural. It's like hand and glove. It just fits. It just fits. I feel you're natural at that. Okay. So if you are like Joanna, you're out of your mind, then this message is not for you, or you haven't given yourself the opportunity to try it, Or if it terrifies you, then maybe there's a reason for that too. Maybe in some other lifetime, you were actually punished for having this ability or for practicing this ability. And you are thought of as someone who would go to hell for doing that. Okay? Your visitation to other past lifetimes in your memory, I feel, is going to give you some indication as to what it is that I'm talking about. Okay, you were in a process of rewriting your own history, and I think that's amazing. So that's what I have for you, pile number 3. Remember to click the notification bell to get notifications when I upload new content. Thank you. See you soon. Okay, message number 4. Let's see what we have for you. I'm just going to show you this. Okay, looks like a Metatron cube. Okay, sacred geometry. Stargate heart chakra opening, unlocking generosity. Generosity was talked about, I think, on the second pile, for second or third. Can't remember. So you might want to go into those and see if there is a message in there for you. So you are in a process, very likely, of opening your heart. But it's not so much opening to heart, it's learning how to trust living with an open heart. Okay, that's interesting. Because your soul, your body naturally knows how to have an open heart. It's when we, through our own programming, through our own limitations, that we close ourselves off. So you being loving is natural to you because you are love. That's what you're here to do. You're here to, quote unquote, spread love. But if we limit ourselves in terms of how we love, then that's going to create, well, dissatisfaction on our part because we're holding ourselves back, but also the planet is not going to benefit as much as it could. I have no idea what this means. I just heard the word your legacy, whatever that means. And the next statement is you've done this before and that you've heard this before. So whatever it is that I said, you've done it before and you've heard it before. Okay? Maybe it's learning how to open your heart chakra, how to love. Okay, they're saying learning how to love, truly, truly love, takes tremendous level of courage. Why? Because it's akin to loving unconditionally, which means to truly love is to love without conditions. And we have a lot of conditions. The question is, what conditions do you put on yourself to keep you from truly spreading your love? What conditions are those? Are you not enough? Go to pile number 3. Listen to that pile. Are you not enough? Nonsense. It's impossible. Therefore, it's impossible, then it must be your mind programming. Your mind connects to your heart. If your heart doesn't trust your mind, or if your mind doesn't trust your heart, then it's like two destinations and the road between them is broken. There's no opportunity to visit each other. They just live in two different polarities. So you're either in your heart or totally in your mind, and there is no communication going on. What we want more of is the heart communicating with the mind, and the mind accepting what the heart is saying without overanalyzing too much. What is it supposed to mean? And just being okay with being in the body. That takes trust. Okay? To be in the body means to be present, to feel, to be, not to try do anything. Trying is like trying to get away. Trying is trying to get away from what is. No, accept what is and then change it. Without acceptance of what is, change cannot happen. Because we're not effectively dealing with what it is that we're trying to change. If you don't understand something about yourself, in order to resolve it, you're not going to be able to do that because you don't understand yourself. You need to heal from the past commitments you've made with other people that have influenced you in a way where it resulted that you lost trust in other people. So someone you've been lied to, you've been fooled around, you've been deceived, you've been emotionally shortchanged, in other words. And that has affected how freely you love and how freely you share your love with others. Betrayal is what's coming up. And we're not just betrayed by our partners. We can be betrayed by a friend. We can be betrayed by a parent. We can be betrayed by a situation. I mean, betrayal comes in various different ways. Okay. In addition, feeling betrayed doesn't necessarily mean that the other person did something to purposely betray us. But if that is how we feel, that's in essence our truth. So, although it's important to understand one's truth, it's also important to understand the bigger truth and how that bigger truth plays in our own truth, if that makes any sense. In other words, there's always something more than your own truth. But if we only see our own truth, if we cannot see other ways and other perspective, very little can change. It's as if you need to be willing to come out of yourself and see yourself from a different perspective and notice how you give to other people. And then notice how you hold yourself back. It's like you have to shift positions. I do this often with clients, by the way, when we are in deep states, shifting perspectives, and it becomes very easy because it's on a deeper level. You can actually observe a difference. But anyway, I just hear, and I don't understand what this means. Sometimes loving yourself doesn't seem to be enough. Sometimes loving yourself doesn't seem to be enough. And the next thing I want to ask is, what is enough? That's the question. What is enough? When someone says, when you say to someone, they don't love me enough, what does loving you enough mean? What does that mean? For me, I feel in my body like it's lack of fullness. You're not feeling full. You're not feeling content. They're showing me an image. You're like a fountain that's constantly trying to be shut off. And I'm like, well, what's the point of a fountain then if it's not free flowing? What's the point of having a fountain? So you're like a fountain that's not in full force. In other words, your own life force, if you will, is being kept down. This is how you release yourself, by understanding that. How do I keep myself small? How do I keep myself in the box? How do I keep myself in a certain understanding? How do I keep myself in a certain story and then reliving that story? How do I do that? They're saying, when you know how, that's when you'll be free. When you know how, that's when you'll be free. When you know how you limit yourself, that's when you will be free. You know what will change? The one thing that will change is your own illusion. That's what's going to change. Your perspective is going to be different. And as a result of you having a different perspective, your entire life is going to change. Change is a process. Sometimes change requires dismantling. Don't be afraid of change. Change is what you want, in fact. You want change. That's why you're here. You're here on planet Earth because you want change. You want to participate in this tremendous, enormous change. That's what you're here for. Change the view of you, and your change of the world will change. Okay. Obviously, the green is coming a lot, and the pink, so that's the feminine energy, healing energy. I just heard, don't be afraid to be too masculine. I don't know what that means. It could be for both male and female. Don't be so afraid of being tough. I don't know who this message, maybe you're not tough enough. Okay? I don't feel they're saying be tougher on yourself. I don't feel that's, maybe you're tough, maybe you're a lot tougher on yourself than you are on others. Maybe you need to rethink that. Why is that? Why am I so much more tougher on myself than others? That's an interesting question. And I'm not necessarily saying, as Joanna, that it's good or bad either way. But there's a reason why they're asking you to ask yourself that question and see if that makes sense to you. Okay? I just heard ignorance is bliss, and then I heard no, ignorance is horror. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this was helpful. I would love for you to comment down below how this message resonates with you, if at all. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And of course, if you would like me to hold your hand while you're going through this, whatever the heck is going on, then that information is down below. Much love and see you soon. Bye-bye.